Masechet Hullin Daf Samachim al Amud Aleph, 18 lines down. Tenor Banan. Tinshemet Ba'ot Sheba'afot. Tinshemet is mentioned as one of the list of the non-kosher birds. It says it's the Ba'ot of the birds. It's like an owl. It hoots. I don't remember Ba'ot Sheba'afot. What does it mean? It's the Ba'ot? Oh, and the Ba'ot Sheba'afot maybe it's considered a sheretz, a creeping creature. Amarte, you have to explain. Tell Mad Miyagim Midrash Torah Nidishman. Go learn from one of the ways we explain the Torah. Davar Lejimin, you have to learn something from the context. What's the Torah talking about? Ba'afot birds. How can Ba'afot different from birds? A similar thing was taught by the creeping creatures. Tinshamet, Ba'ot Shabbos Tinshamet is the Ba'ot of creatures. That's what about Shazim, who says creatures. I know about maybe it's the birds, same thing. Amat, it's the mother, you want to Shben. Tavar Medved, it's meant to be better B'Shazim, I'll come Shazim. Okay, I'm gonna be Ba'ot Shba'afot Kifof. The Ba'ot of the birds is known as the Kifof. Ba'ot Shabbosim Kurpidai. And the Ba'ot of the creatures, creeping creatures, is known as the Kurpidai, like a mole. Marida. Ka'at is hakuf, hakuk. The ka'at in Tetraan refers to the cook, the pelican. Raham zu shirakrak. The raham is known as the shirakrak, which is the sound that it gives. Squawks. Magpie. Okay. Marbi Khan. لما نقرأ شمو رحم why is it called raham? Kevin Shabbat Raham Ba'u Rahim Malam. Whenever a Raham arrives, it brings rain. So mercy comes. Amar Rabbi Rabbi Yehudi Ati Bamidi Babi Shakrak. That's only when it's sitting on something makes that sound. Ugmiri, we have a tradition. The Ati Bar Abba Sharik Ata Meshiha. That if it's sitting on the ground and it's shrieking, you can know that Mashiach is coming soon. Shnemar Eshrei Kad Lahem Ba'aka Basen. The Gemara says Amar Rabbi Ba'ata Ba'ashim Rabbi Rabbi Dai. Vahudi Atif Be Kereva B'Sharak. There's a certain bird, the Raham bird, that was sitting in the field and he shrieked. Then a stone came and crushed its head and killed it. Seemingly not exactly Mashiach. That was a liar. It was trying to announce it, it was lying, and therefore it got punished. Very interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of explanations. Tumran. Orev, it says Orev, Ze Orev, this refers to the Orev. We'll see soon. Et kol orev mentions every orev. Lahavi orev ha'amki includes a deep orev. Let me note its kinds. Lahavi orev haba berashe yorim is refers to the orev that comes with the pigeons. Now we're going to talk about it. Amar amar. Orev ze orev atu kaman ka'e. What do you mean this is the orev? Is there an orev in front of you talking about it that you're explaining this is it? The Gemara says no. Ela ema orev ze orev ukama. When it says orev, this refers to the black orev. The common orev is black, like the raven or the crow. الحين البسيط also says كيفو سوداف تتليم شحارة كعرف. Okay. Ha'amki حبرة, the deep orev is the white one. الحين البسيط says المرأة هو عمق من العور. Okay. Just bringing Pesukim then. Elucidate these points. المرأة حماء عمقها من السماء. Deep, white, same way, and you have the sun. It's deeper in the shade, deeper color hue than the shade. The orif above Rashi means the orif of the pigeons. Marapa, dot him the ati pigeon is meaning the head of the pigeon flock. The dummy head It's the type of orif that the head resembles the pigeon. Okay, then we're on. Hanetz is a hanetz. But it says the nets is the nets. We know to the kind labit at barhiya to include barhiya. My barhiya was that and barhiya shurinka. This is the shurinka. Very interesting, German type of bird. Okay, Marvida. Hahasida Zudayalabina. The Hasida bird mentioned in Torah refers to the white Dayal. I'm going to crash my Hasida was called Hasida. She also has Haurutia because it's kind of his friends. Ha'anafa, the Anafa. Zu Ragzanit. It refers to the Ragzanit. It's bad, it has a very hot temper. I'm going to crash my Anafa. Why is it Anafa? Shemina Anaf is Hamrutia because it causes fights against its friends. مربح نمبر يسمى هزار مع محمد بن المراف 20 بأربعة أفوت مئين هنا 24 types of non-kosher birds أما الريحانان دبر هزار رفاهين زاهيخا where would I from? Easy the Vayikra, one from Pizukim Vayikra, is 3 handfuls, only 20 there. Even the Mishnah that I'm going to bring from Dvarim is 3 handfuls, there's 21 there. The Marsha Vechit him da'a, if you want to mention da'a, the Ktiva, Bivayikra, Veloktiva, Mishnah Torah, which mentions Vayikra Benar Dvarim, Shadre Alaha. then it should be added to the 21. And Akati is saying, we say have will only be 22. Mar has a Malay, Achia Maravuch, the Emech Mishmed Rav, your mother's father, said the name of Rav, Lemina, to its kind. Lemina, again, it says to its kind regarding the Amafa and the Aya. Lemino, by the Orev. Leminahu, by the net. Hare kan Abba for this four. The Gemara says, Yachi Asid Vishita, and you're back to 26. The Gemara says, I'm a Da'a b'ra'a ahati. When it mentions the da'a in Vayikra and the ra'a in Devarim, it's the same one. The letters Dalet and Vav can change interchangeable. Otherwise, these are the tach, ten and even if you want the two different birds. Mechti Mishnah Torah la'osef Yehudata. We know that Devarim, even though it's repeating what the Torah said, but it kind of is there to add. Ma'ishna hachadativ da'a, why mention da'a? Ma'ishna hachadativ ra'a v'lo ktiv da'a. How can mention ra'a, not da'a? El Shemina, min ra'a v'da'a chai. Must be the same bird. The one says, okay, Vasin, I think Mahamshabu. You're still at 25. One says, Amar Ba'ed. Shem Shra'a da'a, how do you just like the ra'a and da'a one? Kach aya v'daya achati, so the aya and the da'a. These are the tarten inun, if you want to see the two different birds. Mechti Mishnah Torah lo sefedata. We know that it's including from Dvarim. Ma'ishna chadati l'mina aya. Why do you mention Vaydi Vayikra? Mentions l'minehu. Mina. Ma'ishna hatam de'tiv l'mina aya. And by the Maria it mentions also Lemina. Lashamina, the Aya Vadea Ahati must be the same thing. Back to 24. Mar says, Vehemiacha Shaya Vadea Ahati, Lama Dea Limtad Aya Vadea. Why mention it twice for the same thing? The Mar says, Kitana Back says, Riamer, Ekra Ani Aya, I could only need to read the Pasuk as Aya to know that's word. Tayala man, and that's why I mentioned Zaya. Because we don't want people to start saying, maybe it is kosher. Because maybe one person calls one way, the other person goes the other way. Mentions both so that everybody knows they're also. Might have a question. Why were the word names of those creatures repeated in Varim after Vayikra? Regarding animals, it mentions the Shu'ah because it mentions by Dvarim, but not Vayikra. But for by birds, it because the Ra'ah mentioned Dvarim, not Vayikra. My life. By the animal, you added the Shisuah. For over here regarding the birds, you added. And therefore, you can't say the same thing as the Da'ah. Where it says La, oh no, or by the animals, it added. But regarding the birds, it explains it. But Uplika de Rabbi Avav argues against Rabbi Avav. The Rabbi Avav says that Azuaya, that Azaya. So why is it called Dera'a? Shelo Ebiotet, because you can see very far. Hashem also says, Natin loy da'ayit below shizatu ayin ra'a. And where it says, Omed bevav ro'ev nevelav Eretz Israel. It could stand in Bavel and it could see something in Eretz Israel. Midra'a hen ra'aya mechal da'a lav hen ra'a. Now, if the ra'a is the same as the ayah, the da'a is not the same as ra'a. It's going to be lesson 24. Mechtim Mishnah Torah la sufi. That's why we know the Torah is adding in Devarim more than Vayikra lists. Ma'ishna achad tivra da'a, ma'ishna achad why I mentioned da'a once, not twice. Ela shomina, da'a v'ra'a ahati must be the same thing. Rashi says, midra'a henu ayah, michal da'a lav henu ayah. If the ra'a is the ayah, that means the da'a is not the ayah. That'd be lesson 24. Ma'ishna achad tiv l'minei ayah, so I mentioned according to the type and kind by ayah and not to include their types. But by Dvarim, didn't mention it by the ayah, mentioned it by the other daya. Shamina must be da'a, bara'a, daya, ba'ahat, he. The daya and the ra'a and the daya and the ayah are all the same thing. Say that 5 times fast. Then the says, Isi bin Domer, me'a afot me'in yesh bin munach. There are 100 different types of non-kosher birds in the East. Ve'chulan min ayahin. They're all considered type of the ayah family. There are 700 types of non-kosher fish. Ushmonet me'ot minei achagavim and 800 types of non-kosher grasshoppers. Well, the offot aim is but the birds is in Palo to count. Offot is in Babahu. I mean, in Palo to count, 24, we know. Rest of the Ella, the Lafot Horim in kosher birds is so many. 10 birds says, Rabbi Omer, Galubet Lot Nation Alam is clear in front of Hashem. Shemat me'ad merubam and there are more non-kosher animals than kosher ones. Fikach manah aktuv v'torah. That's why I mentioned the kosher ones. It's easier to mention. Galubet Lot Nation Alam. It's more kosher birds than non-kosher birds. Therefore, the fikach manah aktuv therefore I mentioned non-kosher birds. Mar says, Mike Mashna, what's the Hidush? Mar says, he says, أما لا ما أعرف هنا ولا شو مش إيه لا مش نعلم بتمودوا تلك سرعة. The reason why it does it that way is because it's good to list Torah in a shortened manner to remember it. ما بيصحى. أفتح إخوان بمزارت. Kosher bird can be eaten based off tradition. منهج. لأن مرة هتغير لما مرة opposite أورج مسار للربي. The hunter can say, my teacher taught me that this is kosher. ما بيخنام. بوش بكي بهن وش متهن. That's only if the guy is expert by the names and kinds. طيب بزرع. ربو حام or ربو سيادها. Does this teacher have to be a hunter or a rabbi? مرة تسمع. مرة بيخنام بوش بكي بهن وش متهن. Teacher has to be an expert in the name, the types, and the names. Mark Bishlamari about Hayat Shapiro. You want to say that the hunter is the teacher, the hunter, then yes. At the end of the Rebbe Hakam, if he sounds the rabbi, his teacher is a rabbi, Bishlamash Mael Kamilli, it makes sense, he'll know the names. Ella Inhu Mia Dalehu, how would he be familiar with all the birds themselves? The Gemara says, Allah Shemina, Rabbi Wasiyaj, Ramina Maki, that his teacher, also a hunter. تمام واخدين بتسيم منها عوضك حبيب في مكان يبقى eggs from going anywhere بأنهم الشين لهم يشم نبلا لهم يشم تلفون from the war maybe they're the eggs that they نبلا or the eggs that تلفا tomorrow says بدي ما often maybe they're eggs of a non-kosher bird tomorrow says أمر بشموع بأمر shall off plony tahor tomorrow case where the guy said these are the eggs of a kosher bird tomorrow says بدي ما shall off tahor why he has to say a certain type he says it has to mention which bird it's from and it has to be a kosher bird. Why don't you just say, okay, the Gemara says, why don't you just say it's a kosher bird egg? You know, why mention the type? The Gemara says, because if he's lying, he can wiggle out of it if he doesn't specify what it is. If he says it's a chicken and then he gets disproved, if he says a certain animal like a chicken, there's a higher chance he can get caught in the lie. Lived up with names, check the signs. And it says, the sign of the eggs are similar to the signs of fish. So now our Gemara is going to talk about what that means. Sinat the Gim can mean that the signs of fish are exact the signs of eggs. Sinat Pir the Torah says that fins and scales are fish. And then it must be the eggs of fish are similar to the eggs of kosher birds. Regarding the eggs, the following are kosher eggs birds, kosher bird eggs. Kol shekoderet v'agugelet, any egg that is spherical and round, rosha echad kach v'rosha echad had, one side is rounded, the other side is like more pointed, tehorat kosher. Shnei rashim kadin or shnei rashim tadin, if both sides are rounded or both sides are narrow, it's not kosher. Halabon v'achuz v'hamon v'afnim, if the white albumin thing is on the outside and the yolk is on the inside, tehorat kosher. Hamam v'achuz v'hamon v'afnim, any other way, it's not kosher. Hamam v'hamon v'afnim, if it's mixed, it must be the egg of a sheretz. So you have signs. Why can't you just base it off the signs? Well, listen to what the guy says. The Gemara says, "Latzricha the already where it was already cut open, therefore you can't tell what it was." Check the yolk and stuff. The Gemara says, "Betrufak be'ka'ara," it was already beaten into a dish. You can't tell where it's from. Okay, if that's the case, how do you buy from him? But then it says, "In machrin beitzat terefah le'avrechim," you can't sell an egg of a terefah to a bird egg of a terefah to a goy. Ela imken terufah be'akar, unless it's been beaten to the bowl. Because why? Then he won't be able to buy. Another Jew won't buy from him. Therefore, you can't beat because we can't buy it. So, what do you mean you're talking about a case where it's in the bowl already mixed? A Jew will never buy that. You know how to buy that. The eggs signs are not dauraita. And that's why you can't rely on it. And we'll prove it why tomorrow.